we're about to race on Zwift. But if you'd opened Zwift, you couldn't have joined us.
I'm in the wrong gear. I'm in the wrong gear. I'm in the wrong gear. Right, it's gone. 2.
No, not yet, because I got the momentum.
1.
So what exactly were we doing? For anyone unfamiliar with it, Zwift is an online cycling game connected to an indoor bike. The harder you pedal, the faster you move in the game. But before we could enter the start pen, the 6 of us had to organise ourselves into a team outside of Zwift.
No, wait, don't hang up yet. But what about a recreational activity?
This was a WTRL team time trial. We weren't racing the riders around us, we were racing the clock against teams starting throughout the day. Every second mattered, but our time would not count until our 4th rider crossed the line. Go too hard, and we could lose the rider we needed. Go too slowly and the whole thing was pointless. And of the 6 riders, 3 were strong enough just to ride away. Our plan required them to stay with us. For a team time trial, this course was unusual. Only a few hundred metres after the start begins a long, fast descent into the jungle, and then a suspension bridge, a short climb into another descent. Then comes the real difficulty, 2 long climbs separated by a far too short bit of flat road. However, once you've cleared those, there's a long, fast descent, and then a final short run to the finish. Our captain, who likes to be nicknamed Barbie, I'm not sure why, I should really ask that in the Discord chat. So Chris Barbie Booth, along with Steve and Mark, made up our 3 strongest riders. They'll do most of the work, taking longer turns on the flatter roads and also holding the front on the climbs. Pat would contribute shorter turns, and he described himself as the world's worst climber. His role is to support the top 3 before gravity gets involved. Then there's Ollie and I. We are the protected riders. We will do as little work as possible, saving our legs for the 2 major climbs. The idea was to reach them fresh enough to be dragged over at the fastest pace we could manage. It wasn't something we were greatly looking forward to, a lot of suffering, and Pat had clearly sold his limitations to Captain Barbie far better than Ollie and I. We intended to go very hard out of the pen. The first descent was only 300 metres away. We'd get plenty of rest and we'd get up to speed quickly if we could just get to that point.
10 seconds.
All right, everyone, hard out of the pens. No resting. But immediately Mark had a problem.
I'm in the wrong gear. I'm in the wrong gear. I'm in the wrong gear.
Okay.
It sounded worse than it was on the radio. He wasn't isolated and nobody had completely lost the draft. We reached the crest mostly together, and about 500 metres later we all came back together. The first small crisis had resolved itself. Good work, Pat. The key was a private race pass. We got this by the manager registering our team through WTRL, and then WTRL then provides that race pass link. After the fast opening descent, the road levelled out towards the suspension bridge, giving us our first chance to actually organise properly. Steve, Chris and Mark began rotating the longer turns, Pat added his shorter efforts, and Ollie and I settled in behind them.
Ten seconds, got no mark.
Yeah. Rolling through.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mark is on.
Once on the far side, the road dropped down onto
5,
the Mayan bridge before
4,
climbing back out.
3, 2, 1. Steve's on. Fucking hell. Not 5.
Watch you don't press those brakes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark's on.
That short climb produced the first permanent gap. Pat lost contact just as the rest of us reached the top.
Watch the gaps.
What?
Black's gone. Black, stop that other second.
I'm on. Keep going.
Bob's on. Bob's on in 5.
Keep going.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1. Bob is on.
In most cases, being dropped is mainly your own problem. In a team time trial, everyone still in the group feels the loss. For Steve, Chris and Mark, every turn would now come back around sooner. And the real climb not even began. A short descent and roughly 2 kilometres of flat gave Ollie and me one last chance to fully recover. I kept reminding him to use every second of it. Others had spent the opening part of the race saving our legs for the climbs. Now we had to make that effort count. The first major climb is the Mayan Mountainside. I preferred sitting at the back. From there I could see the whole team and get as much help from the draft as possible. Steve, Chris and Mark were riding at around 4 watts per kilogram.
1 second.
Tucked in behind them, I was closer to 3.5. Ollie had a different approach though.
Ollie, you're only getting one wheel draft. Make sure you leave a gap for everyone to drop in front of you.
Sure. I wasn't going to get dropped.
It should have been funny, but no one had enough spare breath to prove it. And somehow the first climb went almost perfectly. All 5 of us stayed together. WTRL isn't the only community organiser building races around Zwift. Some of the others include Flame Rouge Racing and ECRO, running competitions of their own with different formats, entry systems and rules. Speaking of formats, WTRL confusingly uses coffee to describe each racing category. From weakest to strongest, they are mocha, latte, frappe, espresso, and doppio. However, since when is frappe considered stronger than a latte? As a latte drinker, I'd take that personally. But anyway, we'd enter latte, at least that's what we thought. After a brief section of flat road, we reached the second climb, Itza KOM. On paper, it looked manageable, 3.8 kilometres, an average of only 2%. But that average concealed a constantly rolling opening,
5 seconds.
and most of the real climbing was saved for the final ramps. Even before the steepest section, I could hear how much the race had already taken out of Steve, Chris and Mark, and that strain was now resulting in gaps appearing more often.
He's up the front too. He's up front too. Barbie, can you use the draft to punch through us?
Not really.
Every time one opened, it took a little longer to close it.
Mark's on now. Stop.
I'm easing up. I'll go to the back and punch through unless we don't. We're catching up now. Come on, Barbie. That's it. I'm on. Don't worry about me. Keep going.
I was still feeling relatively good, but soon Ollie wouldn't be. I'll do a Chris Horner impersonation here. At around 15.5 kilometres,
You're a knucklehead.
there was roughly 400 metres of climbing road left, but it was the steepest section yet. Until then, the stronger riders had been able to shelter Ollie and me from the wind. I gave Ollie one last bit of encouragement.
All right, no draft here. Ollie, go hard. Bees, do what you can.
Dropping us.
My first instinct was harsh but straightforward. We still had 4 riders and 4 was all we needed to set a time. But I wasn't the captain. When Mark said he was easing for him, For a moment, I didn't know whether Mark was making that decision alone or whether the whole team was going to wait. But then Barbie came on the radio, confirmed that he was easing too.
Easy.
We're easing for Ollie.
Easy.
Yeah, you guys bring Ollie back.
So that settled it. The question appeared and disappeared within a few seconds. Steve, Chris and Mark eased around Ollie and helped guide him through the final metres of the climb. Although Ollie led the charge over the crest of the hill.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Punch over the top,
Well
get
done,
back
boys.
to me. Here's my draft. Come on, Ollie, punch it hard. Grab my draft for this descent. Punch it.
The descent was going to be steep and fast. I stayed slightly ahead, giving the others a wheel of chase as they came over the top. Once they caught me, I pushed again, trying to keep myself on the front.
Come on, someone push through. That's it. Next person, past Steve.
But at those speeds, you can't hold the front, and eventually I got pushed to the back. But this is where you take advantage. Accelerating through the draft, I was able to carry speed through the group. Doing so, I reached 100 kilometres an hour, giving a great drive for those behind me.
All right, who's strong?
The second of these drafts carried me through to the bottom of the descent onto the flat section. There were 3 kilometres left, and at that speed, only a few minutes of racing remained.
We'll go back top of the order. Barbie's going to do 30 though. In 3, 2.
No, not yet, because I've got the momentum.
1.
Let me do 30 seconds, I've got the momentum.
And now the roles had reversed. For the first time in a team time trial with Evo Hardcore, I was the rider with the most left.
I'm buggered following that. I can't. I'll do it, Kyle. I can't. Go, guys.
Okay, everyone, hang in here as long as you can.
Number 4 dropping. 4 dropping.
They've got landings.
Apparently 3 minutes is still enough for me to become quite bossy.
Drop into the back. There's no one feeling good.
At this speed, the final 3 kilometres would allow only 2 or 3 proper turns on the front. There was no point sending someone already exhausted into the wind simply because it was their turn. So I stayed at the front.
All right, I'll do a pull after this, okay?
No, let Matt
I'll
go.
do it.
Okay, we need to do
I'll
strong,
follow you.
strong pulls.
One.
No weak pulls.
Ollie on after Steve.
Take in the front, guys. I've got power.
We can't catch you. We cannot hold that power.
That's what I'm saying. I've got the power.
Keep going.
Let me use it. Let me use the
You're gapping
power.
us, though. You're gapping us.
That's all right. Just come to me. You guys haven't let me know that you're dead. Let me
Try to
take
close the gap.
let me take a minute pull here. Starting from now.
Hip ease.
So I'm just going out to speed. Just concentrate on holding that wheel. Don't all line out, fall wide. All right, Ben off.
Ollie after Steve.
About
Okay,
30.
30. Okay,
That's a 130.
30 for Steve.
Yeah.
Last 900 meters. Just pull hard. Don't worry about time, just pull hard. All right, I'm coming through. Grab my wheel, everyone go.
Last 400.
Finish, sprint, sprint, sprint.
Last 3. Last 2. Well done, James. Whoa. Oh, nice one, guys.
Lucky, man. Well done, guys.
Well
Did a
done,
great job here.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
Guys. Good ride.
Always a pleasure yelling at you guys.
Very nice.
Nice to have you back, Mark. Welcome back.
Thanks, guys.
It was bloody hard work for you bees.
Oh, I'm Cox. Funny next week.
We crossed the line. Our fourth rider stopped the clock at 31 minutes and 12 seconds, but the results had one final surprise. We'd entered Latte and looked like we were on a pretty good result, but instead we appeared in Frappe, although I still refuse to accept that a Frappe outranks a latte. Now, if you've only ever chosen the races on Zwift's public event list, you've only seen a small part of what Zwift racing's about. I'll link WTRL, Flamers Racing and Ecro in the description and pinned comment. And if your team is recruiting, please leave the details below. All right, that's all from me. Peace out.